What's up everyone? In this week's video, I'll be going over a couple of pictures taken recently and go over my thought process with them, why I compose the photos as such, how I took the photo, and anything else I think might add some insight to the process. I did this last month as well, so if you've seen that already, this video will basically be the same concept. I'll be titling these videos very bluntly, such as Los Angeles photo shoot number 1, number 2, and so on. Basically whatever city I'll be in. I'm hopeful that this will turn out to be a little cool project for me once I start venturing out and traveling to new locations, but until then, it's going to be LA. Anyways, before I start getting off topic, let's get right into it. So for the first photo right here, this is a photo that I took in downtown LA. Let me share the settings real quickly. So with this photo, I took with my A7R5. My settings was 1/2500th of a second, f6.3, and ISO 640. For these settings, I didn't really care. As long as my shutter speed was above like 1/1000th, I didn't really care. Everything else was just set up to make that shutter speed high enough for me to freeze the movement in the picture. So for this photo, the thing that caught my attention immediately were these poles right here, the shadows of these poles. And that got me thinking, if I can get a person to walk through and have his shadow cast right between these poles, that can be kind of a cool pattern and such. So I kind of just waited in this area for someone to walk by. It took a bit longer than I thought, as some people didn't really walk in the path that I would want them to. Obviously, you know, that's just street photography, right? But with this, I took maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so. I took a couple of versions, one without a person and one with a person, but I like the element of having a person in this picture. If I just had no person in the photo, all you see is the shadows of these poles, and you know, it's cool, but having that person right there just give it a bit of a difference, so you can kind of see like, oh, you know, there's a pole, oh, there's actually a person there, and that kind of catches your attention, at least in my opinion. So that's what I found interesting about this photo. Another important thing as well was the edges of the photo. I wanted to make sure that the shadows of the poles weren't cut off and that the edges were straight, making sure everything was lined perfectly. So moving on to the second photo right here. The second photo I took at Santa Monica on the pier. And before I get into the photo itself, let me talk about the camera settings really quickly. So with this photo, I took it 1/1000th of a second, I took it f3.5, I took it ISO 100, and again, I took it with my A7R5. So the main goal of this photo was to put mountains right between the hole of this telescope thing. I'm not actually too sure what to call this. I'll search it up on the internet and put it in post. But the goal was to put the mountain range, or the mountains, right between this kind of space right here and frame them. So the feeling that I got from this photo is a feeling of curiosity about these mountains. And because of the device right here that's on the piers, they actually, you know, are used to look at the mountain ranges and, you know, anything far away and such. So I thought using this device like that is kind of a cool way to convey that feeling. So in post, when I was editing this photo, the one thing that I really wanted to bring back again was to make sure that sunset glow was there. When I was at location, the sunset was beautiful that day, as it usually is at Santa Monica during sunset time. The one thing that I wish I could have done differently with this photo is to somehow cut this edge right here, as it is showing the buildings, and I didn't really like that. But with the way the area worked, I couldn't really move further back, or else I'd reveal more of the buildings on the right. But if I moved closer to the telescope device, yeah, sure, I could have gotten rid of the buildings, but then you probably wouldn't really know what this device was. And it's kind of hard already to tell what it is just from the original picture itself. So this is the best I can do to get the best of both sides. So moving on to the last picture, we have this photo right here that I took at Venice Beach. So with this photo, I took with my A7R5, and I took it with the 24-70 GM version 2, and my settings was 1/2500th of a second, f9, ISO 400. So a little backstory behind this picture. I actually got to Venice Beach right after work, and because, you know, LA traffic is crazy bad, I got here right before golden hour started, which was around 7 or so, and that didn't really give me any time to really experiment or look around the area. Even though I've been to Venice Beach a couple of times, I didn't really know what were the places to get or what were the places that I would like to capture. The only real idea I had was I wanted some silhouette pictures of the skate park. And even then, I didn't really get time to experiment either at the skate park. I've been there during the day, but never really at sunset. So, you know, that really just speaks into the importance of getting to location before the time that you think you want to start shooting, just so you can, you know, have the time to experiment. So with this photo right here, it says right here that I took it at 60mm. I actually had this in APS-C mode. So it's 60mm in APS-C mode. That would give you around 90mm or so. That's how basically I can get this picture and zoom up really close, because I have that ability to crop in and get more millimeters. So with this photo straight off the bat, I really wish I could have had like a skateboarder right here in the air doing a trick, but I realized that kind of was impossible. Not only because the timing had to be perfect, but also I don't think skateboarders can even get that high. This was pretty high up already. I think the highest it can get up was probably around this sign area. So I kind of gave up on that idea very quickly. But the reason why I actually like this picture, not only was it because of this cool kind of feeling of sunset, you know, this peak sunset, everyone's looking in this direction, but even though these people right here are looking at the skate park and, you know, the skateboarders at the skate park, but from my perspective right here, it actually looks like they're looking at the mountain, just enjoying the sunset itself and having a great time. For this photo, I took 2 different versions. This one being the first version and the final version that I like the most, and the second version being right here. And with this photo, I actually don't mind it, but the reason I probably liked the other one better was because this kind of sand residue right here, someone was, I don't know what they were doing, but they were like blowing the sand around and it was making kind of this effect right here. And at first I kind of liked it actually. It looked really cool seeing this kind of, dusty, sandy kind of environment, but it didn't really look clean. So that's why I like this other version better. This one was just a more clean kind of feeling, a more clean picture. So that's why I probably chose this as the final version. I also like this bird right here. It's kind of a cool ad. Well, that's all for this video. I hope this video was fun and somehow gave you some insight for your own photos. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and I'll see y'all next week. Later.